Good afternoon. Thank you for being here. House Democrats are here today to discuss a comprehensive collection of legislation to improve healthcare access and outcomes throughout Missouri. All Missourians deserve access to affordable healthcare, but access is just one step toward a healthier Missouri. There are many particular public health issues that require greater attention to improve outcomes and lives. With our healthcare agenda, House Democrats are working to bring more focus to these issues. Our ideas include creating a new option on the marketplace for Missourians to obtain healthcare coverage, restoring prescription drug benefits for the elderly, implementing initiatives to prevent and treat opioid addiction, addressing the growing problem of maternal mortality, and protecting the medical options for victims of sexual assault. Of course, as Democrats, we believe the single most important thing the legislature could do to improve healthcare access and outcomes in Missouri would be to expand Medicaid under the Affordable Care Act. But even though several Republican-controlled states have looked past the politics of this issue to embrace the public health benefits from Medicaid expansion, we know our Republican friends here in Missouri aren't ready to do that just yet.
Representative Doug Beck running for the state Senate in South St. Louis County, Democrat legislator. Welcome to the show. Why you're running for state Senate?
Well, first off, it's my first time on the show, so thank you for having me. I'm running for the Senate, just the same reason I've run for anything else. When I ran for school board and served 9 years on the Afton School Board, it simply is a form of community service for me.
And some of our concerns that we brought up are being overlooked in a manner which we think, and I think that when it comes to like the actual plan, let's say you like it or you don't like it, the fact that they want to push for a statewide vote is a problem, because that should be something between St. Louis City and St. Louis County.
Again, I'm with everybody here. I do not like the statewide vote. I think that's wrong. I didn't like it on the minimum wage vote. I don't like it on this. I think St. Louis City and County should come together and do the vote.
One of the biggest things we kind of agree on for the most part is we always talk about local control. And there's no better way of local control than making sure that those municipalities who are involved in the actual merging are the ones that's creating whatever happens. Now, I don't know why St. Louis went to why they did what they did beforehand, but I wasn't elected then. And so I'm elected now. And my job is to make sure the voice of my people are heard.
If you look at 27, it's even more broadly written. Under 27, and it's really wordy. I think the gentleman is an attorney, if I'm correct. It's a very interestingly worded number 27. So you've got any document or record, including electronic, received or prepared by or on behalf of a member of a public governmental body consisting of advice, opinions, and recommendations in connection with the deliberative decision-making process of said body. So, in other words, that's a lot of words. What that means is everything. I just want us to be very clear about what those words mean.
I just kind of want to get this straight. You are proposing that we take the Clean Missouri provisions and apply them to all locally elected officials as well, correct?
That's correct.
And not long ago, you and I had a discussion on this on the floor. Do you remember that? But the bill, actually it was a rule that I proposed amending for us and the way that we behave. And it had to do with defining $5 per occurrence.
Yes, I remember that, and that's why this amendment now says $5 per lobbyist per day, to kind of clarify that.
But you were not in favor of doing that for us.
Well, I think because it's a constitutional provision, I don't know if anything that we legislate on that would be valid. I think that per occurrence
but it
language
wasn't
just
legislating.
has to be.
We weren't legislating. We were setting the rules, the standards of our own behavior, so that our own behavior would be set to a higher or the highest standard, which would be $5 per day.
Saying the language, I'm saying that who, as part of his or her regular employment duties, attempts is, I'm not okay with that, because that's too broad. That makes a high school student a registered lobbyist. That makes the attorney who, he's just doing what his boss tells him to do. He doesn't even know what he's doing. He just says, write a memo, send it to the superintendent. Superintendent says, thanks for the memo, I changed my mind. That's my problem with that, is it encompasses too many regular people. People who are just trying to do their job, put money in their pocket, put food on their table, they're now lobbyists.
This week was an interesting week. We had some really great bipartisan work done on this prescription drug monitoring program that our caucus was very excited to see get through the House clean without amendments. And then, of course, we had budget all week long where we were going through the different books, and this morning heard from various departments, and when we were discussing criminal justice reform, we are doing a very poor job in our budget when it comes to funding our public defenders. We heard from them this morning in budget how vastly underfunded they are. And as I've said previously, the caucus is very excited that we're moving in towards the direction of criminal justice reform and having great bipartisan conversations. But without this critical piece of funding our public defenders, we are very worried about what that means for the criminal justice reform in general. And then, of course, we just had a bill go through the House that dealt with Amendment 1 and a complete gutting of the Sunshine Law, and that was a bit frustrating. As many of you know, we had 67% of Missourians tell us that they want more transparency in government, and what we just did in the House chambers undoes that. So I have Representative Carpenter here who had an amendment to try to fix some of Representative Schroer's amendment. If you have specific questions about what that process looked like, he's happy to take that. But with